Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at how to create our amplifier base and run the toolpaths in Autodesk Inventor. I have my Inventor open. I'm going to come up to the orange File tab in the top left hand corner. Click on it, and I'm going to select New. Select New. Once your menu opens up, you're going to choose Standard.ipt. Click to select it and click Create. Now, once our drawing opens up, we're going to start as we usually do, 2D sketch from the ribbon bar in the top left-hand corner. And as always, XY plane is what we're going to choose to draw on. Click Front in your World View Cube to zoom out and get everything on your screen. This part is going to start off using our rectangle tool, so let's get our rectangle tool. We want to start at our origin, and we know that we're at our origin when we get our green dot, and we're going to stretch our rectangle to the upper right-hand quadrant. Okay, once we have that, we need to enter a few dimensions. We're going to type 8 for our horizontal dimension, press the Tab key on your keyboard, and 3.5 for our vertical dimension. Then press Enter on the keyboard. Okay, once we have 8 and 3.5, we're going to come up to the top in our ribbon bar on the right hand side and select green check mark Finish Sketch. In our World View Cube, we're going to select our Home View. Now we're going to take an extrude. Looking at our drawing, we want this to go the opposite way, so we want to flip our direction. And our depth for this is going to be 1.5. And click OK. Next, we're going to take a 2D sketch, place it on our front view. Click Front in your World View Cube to zoom all, and that centers it on your screen. For the part that looks like an unfinished triangle, we're going to begin that with our line tool. So we're going to select our line tool from the top up here. And we're going to come down, and we want to be on the bottom edge of our block in order to start. I'm going to click, let go of the mouse button, and I'm going to stretch out and just start sketching. We'll put our dimensions on after we have the shape drawn. So I'm going to come up at an angle, click. I'm going to come across straight. I know that I'm straight when I have that straightness snap, that parallel snap, that gray box that's popping up. Click, and I'm going to come and return back down to the bottom of that part. Once I get to the bottom of the part, I'm going to click once I get on the edge. And now if you take a look, if you lose that line once you get down here, see how my line is gone? I can just come back up to the top, get my line tool again. Start, make sure you get a green dot again, and bring that across. And finish with a green dot over here as well. Okay, now we need to put some dimensions on here. So let's go get our dimension tool. The first dimension we're going to put on, grab the lower left hand corner of this unfinished triangle. And we're going to get the right hand side of that unfinished triangle down at the bottom. Bring this dimension down. This dimension is going to be 7 inches. So type 7 and then green check mark right here. The next dimension we're going to put on is how far away from the edge it is. So I'm going to get my dimension tool. I'm going to click the origin or the left hand corner of my block and the left hand corner of my unfinished triangle down here. Bring this down. Looking at our drawing, we can see that it is 0.5 for a dimension. Type that in, then green check mark. Next, we're going to put this dimension on for this part up here. So with our dimension tool, when this line turns red, we're going to click, push this dimension up, and this dimension is going to be 3.25. Once you have 3.25 typed in, green check mark. Now we need a distance from the edge to where this top of the unfinished triangle begins. So with our dimension tool, I'm going to click the left-hand side of my block and the left-hand side of that upper corner of my unfinished triangle and bring that dimension up. From our drawing, we can see that this dimension is 2.38. So I'm going to type that in, green check mark. And now I need a height from the top to the bottom here. So with my dimension tool, I'm going to do one final dimension from the top to the bottom. Bring this dimension off to the side. And this is going to be 1.63. 1.63. And then green check mark. Okay, so we have this unfinished triangle on here. Now we're going to take and extrude it. So I'm going to green check mark Finish Sketch. I'm going to choose my extrude command from the ribbon bar at the top. It should automatically pop out. If this doesn't automatically pop out, you can click that unfinished triangle here. You can see that we want it to go the opposite way to cut, so I'm going to make sure I'm in the flip direction. I'm going to change my distance to 1 inch, and I want to make sure that I have cut selected down here as well. And then click OK. That looks good. Next, we need the 2 rectangles that are on the drawing as well. We're going to do that with another 2D sketch. Place that on your front view. Click front in your world view cube to center that on your screen. And now I'm going to do those rectangles using my rectangle tool. Now I'm going to start in the top left hand corner. I want to make sure that I get a green dot here. Click, stretch out a rectangle. From the drawing, we can see that the dimension is 1.25. Press the tab key on the keyboard, and the height is going to be 0.63. So I have 0.63 at the top, 1.25 at the top, 0.63 on the side, and then enter on the keyboard. Okay, we need another rectangle just like that over on the other side. So I'm going to get my green dot over here. Now if you can't seem to find your green dot, you can always press the escape key, get your rectangle tool again, and that should help you find that green dot there. Bring it up, and this is identical to the other one. So the horizontal distance is 1.25. Press the tab key on the keyboard, and my vertical distance is 0.63. And then enter. That looks good. Press the escape key to let go of your rectangle tool, and green check mark finish sketch. Now we're going to take and extrude these 2 rectangles as well. The first thing I want to do is click my rectangles. Make sure you select both of them. And then I want them to go in the flip direction so they cut down. And I want to change my cut distance to 0.75. And I have cut selected as well. Click OK. Okay, now you can take a look at our part here. You can see what our part looks like. Now we're going to come up to the top, orange file, and we're going to save this. So we're going to go File, Save As. Make sure that you're in your H drive, first initial, last name 000. If this doesn't automatically show up, click on the pull down arrow here, and you're all the way down at the bottom. Choose the one at the bottom. Okay? Now, I'm going to give this my last name. And then I'm going to call it Base. So this is the Amplifier Base, so I typed in my last name and Base, and then I'm going to select Save. Okay? Now we're going to create the tool path so that we can cut this on the CNC mill. I'm going to follow my tabs across the top until I get to the Cam tab. Right here's the Cam tab. Select that. And the first thing we're going to need to do is set this part up. So I'm going to click my Setup folder. And these tabs we always work across the top. And then each tab we take top to bottom. So on the first tab, we're going to come down here and we're going to change our origin from stock box point to model origin. Model origin selected. Go to my next tab over. Our tabs we work from left to right and top to bottom. So go to our next tab. And we want to change relative size box to fixed size box. And our numbers in here should be 8, 3.5, and 1.5. Let's go to our final tab, come across. This is our post-process tab. Right here we're going to highlight the 1001 and you're going to type in your last name and base. Once you have that done, click OK. Now we're going to go up to the top in our ribbon bar in the 2D milling section and we want to select 2D pocket. The first thing we want us to do, once again, tabs at the top, we're going to work from left to right, and the tabs we're going to work from top to bottom. So in this first tab, we're going to select our tool. So click on the tool button. And in the little menu over on the left-hand side, we're going to scroll down until you find End Mills, the End Mills folder right here, and we're going to choose tool number 2. That's a 1/4 inch flat end mill, and select. You can see it pictured right there. Next, we're going to go across to the second tab, where we select our geometry. Now to do this, we're going to get our rotate tool from our menu at the side, and we're going to rotate this up so we can see what we're selecting. When you're finished, press the escape key on the keyboard to let go of the rotate tool. And now we need to select what we want cut out. So first I'm going to choose this bottom part of the unfinished triangle, and then the bottom of each one of these other rectangles as well. Okay, with those selected, we're going to go next to the third tab over where we establish our heights. In here, the top three are the ones we're going to change. We're going to change the top one to stock top, and we're going to change our offset distance to 0.2. The second one, make sure is stock top 0.2. Our feed height, we're going to change to stock top and 0.2. So once again, the top three: clearance height, stock top 0.2, retract tack, stock top 0.2, feed height, stock top 0.2. Let's go across to our fourth tab. Now since this is pretty deep cut, we have to take it in multiple depths. So I'm going to come down here in this one and select multiple depths, turn that on. And the maximum roughing step down distance, I'm going to change to 0.25. 0.25 is typed in here, maximum roughing step down. And then down underneath it where it says stock to leave, I'm going to uncheck that box as well. Okay, let's go on to our final tab. Next one down where it says safe distance, I'm going to take and highlight this and change that to 0.2. And as I come down, I'm going to change leads and transitions. I'm going to uncheck lead in. I'm going to uncheck lead out. And my ramp style I'm changing from helix to plunge. Okay, a little quick review here. So in this final tab, I changed the safe distance to 0.2 right here. I unchecked lead in, unchecked lead out, and changed my ramp type to plunge. Once we have that finished, click OK. And it's going to take a minute in order to process those. When it does, it's going to give you the toolpath lines going across, and then we'll be able to take and simulate this to see how it looks and how it will cut in real life on the CNC mill. Okay, so next we're going to come up here. There's our pocket. You can see all the different steps in the toolpath that's going to take. I'm going to come up here to simulate. With our simulate tab opened up, I'm going to click stock right here to turn the stock on, and then we're going to click play, and it's going to run through and show you how that part is going to get cut out. Okay, that looks great. This window that's here, we're going to click close. And now we're going to take and get this ready so that the CNC mill can read it. I'm going to come up here to my 3D model, below my 3D model tab. I'm going to select post process. So this is right underneath the 3D model tab next to the simulate tab. Click post process. Now in here there's a few things that we want to change. The output folder, we want to click here and change this to your H drive. So you're going to select your H drive and then click select folder. Okay, next you should see your name in here, Lammers and base, your last name and base, and once we have that done, we're going to select post. Once again, it confirms the title that you're calling it, and click save. It'll take a minute to process that, a lot of information. This is all the X and Y, Z coordinates and the M and G codes that it takes to run the machine. We're going to X this out in the top right hand corner. That brings us back to Inventor. And now before we do anything else, let's save this. Let's go up to the orange file and down to save. And that's going to update our changes that we made since we last saved. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to X out. You're going to go over to the computer that has the green tags on them that say CNC mill and log into one of those computers. Once you're on that computer, you're going to take and see this CNC mill icon on the desktop. You're going to click to open it up. We're going to go to Translate Execute. And we're going to select our H drive. From the left-hand side, you should be able to expand this PC, and you find your H drive there. And we're going to find your last name and base. Click Open. You're going to click Create. Click OK. And then this machine or this screen is going to open up, and you're going to select Preview. This is where you're going to stop go get your teacher,